Oops. Hey y'all, how you doing? Clem Hawkins here. I've been doing this podcast thing and dealing with some regular stuff. You hungry? But the thing I'm trying to remember is this all started with the idea back in the day of writing some books and writing like I talk. So sorry, I had to get Elvis's food. So, yeah. I am residentially challenged. Have been for quite some time. I don't seem capable of sucking it up with society. I'm horrible. I'm considered disabled in the system. I have been able to work some, but in official aspects, lots of years of computer work and staring at a computer screen have left me with degenerative disc disease in my neck, hypersensitivity to light with my eyes, and putting up with stupid motherfuckers is just not my cup of motherfucking tea. I'm just saying. So I deal with what I can with what I got. And I was struggling for a while to make ends meet. Then I got a good job, or I got a few good gigs. What the fuck, dude? How much fucking water do you need, you greedy bitch? There, you got a whole fucking bowl of it. Quit acting so damn greedy. So anyway, the idea of the residentially challenged book was to share knowledge, information, etc., and I had this idea possibly 10 years ago. It was definitely over 18 years ago that I coined that phrase, residentially challenged. And by residentially challenged, I mean homeless, unable to afford a living space, which is fucking ridiculous in this world. On a daily basis, I probably see 15 to 20 other people living in their vehicles at our buddy Wally's house. And when I say Wally's house, I mean Walmart parking lot. Denver only has, as far as I've found, 2 Walmarts where we can park and sleep and not be hassled. Granted, that tends to leave a mess because half the people in this situation are in this situation due to drug abuse or other situations. I can't say I've ever been one to shirk that when I was doing it, because I did speed once for about 8 months. I learned from my experience, and thank God for God and blessings in disguise as far as the super massive dose of LSD I got back in the day that somehow woke my head up, and I didn't have any interest in that shit anymore. And I wasn't really interested in the first place. It just didn't seem like there was much else to do. But when I finally shut the door on that shit, it wasn't until I shut the door on that shit that other doors started opening up. Predominantly the doors involving psychedelics and personal enlightenment and spirituality. And I ain't gonna fucking drum on none of that. I'm just talking about basics, how to live, how to survive, living in your vehicle. And practical awarenesses that on a bare minimum, currently with my disability from Social Security, I live on about $600 and some odd dollars a month, which barely is enough for food. I found that out regularly, ended up having to overdraw my account, and I went months, no drinking. Of course, I would invest sparingly in herb just to keep my head straight, but or at least in a good position. And that makes a huge difference, keeping your mind in a comfortable place. And part of the thing I think about is, well, I didn't pick this path. This path kind of chose me. I worked my ass off when I was doing the stagehand stuff, and I was falsely assumptive when it came to what December work would be like. So all of the October and November money that I made is gone. But as opposed to looking backwards, I choose to look forwards. I got a really good dog keeps me company and hopefully shall for a long time, and he is my number one priority at all times. He always has food, he always has water, and I schedule my day around his needs as far as walking, business, peeing and pooping and stuff, as well as exercise and sometimes play. Not so much, because I have a hard time with that in this situation. But, we do it with what we can, with what we got. And once I accept it and just kind of, okay, it is what it is, for years and years and years, I've always hidden the fact that I was homeless or without a place. And in my mind, everybody that says I'm homeless trying to make me look bad, it's like, well, you've got a mortgage, you've got rent, you've got a job, you've got all these things that keep you tied down to where you're at, and I got no strings on me. I'm like Pinocchio. And so with no strings on me, it's up to me and up to Spirit to guide me as to what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to go, and what's the next best thing to help everybody else out. Because, I've seen lots of people live their lives just for themselves or just for their blood family and all of that. But it seems the most satisfied people in this world are those that live on very little and help as many people as possible. And since I'm unable to travel, this is the only way I can help y'all, is to share with you what I've been through. And it's a long and drawn out story. I'm just reminding myself that I told myself I was going to do a books on tape for American Misfits, my micro novel in 82 pages. And I still might get a chance to do that and get it up there. Since it takes so much damn time to upload these things, I'm going to obviously, hopefully, get them streamed down so I don't have to sit around so much. But since I got nothing better to do than sit around, I might as well try to use it productively. And considering this podcast is called Accept No Limitations, if there's something that needs to be done and there are stumbling blocks or limitations or other things in the way, I'm not going to accept it. I'm going to work around it and find a way that I can do my best to contribute. And I may not succeed, but at least I will feel as if I am doing everything in my power, regardless of how limited that power may be, to be a part of the positive change. And I do feel that my experience from living on the road gives me the ability to tell y'all what the fuck is up with it. Because would you ever take advice from somebody that wouldn't follow it themselves? And back when I was in Santa Fe, I remember my dad talked me into getting off the streets and trying to join the system again. And I went through all the hoops and whatnot. But it took so much time, effort, and energy just to maintain the place. I always kept thinking, if I could just get off the road and find a place to settle down, I can write these books out, I can get these messages out to people. And I'm aware that homies, how you doing, brothers and sisters? I'm aware y'all probably ain't got no money for books. You may not be able to read, but you can talk, you can listen. And so there it is. Here's the book, Residentially Challenged by Clem Hawkins. Back in the day when I was in San Francisco, we used to joke that as long as I have home is where your heart is and home is where you hang your hat. So as long as I have a head to hang my hat and a chest with a heart beating in it, I should consider myself at home. And I should be comfortable with that and in that. And everything else is transitory. Everybody that would put me down is only putting me down because what I'm doing is different from what they're doing. Now, it's true, if in God's graces I had work and I was working all December, by January, I'd have enough money I could probably afford to fix up my Jeep, get new tires, and maybe even some other kind of living situation. I've kind of pretty much given up on the challenge of coming up with $3-4 grand just to move into a one-bedroom studio apartment in Denver, just so I can spend all my time working, setting up other people's stuff so they can sell stuff at the convention center. seems important, seems like something I could do, but I can't say that it's the most important thing, because right now, if we were all nose to the grindstone, we'd never see the fucking soldiers coming, you know what I mean? I remember Paul Revere, I suppose it was Paul and a bunch of other people, but he got the credit for it, as far as keeping an eye out for the attack, if it was by land or if it was by sea. And so there was a bunch of people just standing around apparently doing nothing, but what they were actually doing was watching out for invasions. And movies like Red Dawn, movies like War Games, all of those give me a message of what's the potential of what we could be looking at as far as our future for our kids and our grandkids. And if we're thinking about grandkids, we should be thinking 100 years down the road. There's an old saying that says, if you're thinking 1 year ahead, plant food. If you're thinking 10 years ahead, plant trees. But if you're thinking 100 years ahead, educate people. Plant seeds of thought in the minds of others. And that's what this is an attempt to do. Give you all some seeds of thought to discuss. Because I still wonder what the solution is. I've tried communes. And communes suck, only in that communes suck if you're a hard worker, because the hardest worker is always making up for the biggest slacker. And when the idea of a commune or community, come in unity, come together in unity, put your efforts towards one big goal, and we all can all enjoy that. So that's an important aspect of my mentality and where I'm at with all of this stuff. Yet for years and years and years, I've allowed all of these limitations, financial limitations, drinking habit limitations, girlfriend limitations, all the limitations, I've just accepted them. And where I'm at anymore, and why I'm doing this podcast, is just show to you, look how limited I am, and look what I'm willing to do. Now, if I'm willing to do whatever I can do, all I would ask is that everyone else that believes in this message would do the same. And what we can do on a daily basis changes on a day-to-day basis. Today, I happen to have a whole lot of time. I happen to have a phone. It's a little shitty track phone that I got for like $30. And a SIM chip that cost me $20 to record all these things on. And all I can do is what I can do, what's right in front of me. Possibly someday I'll get over my limitation of pride and I'll join those other fucking drunk tweaker junkies on the fucking on the highway exit ramps and intersections and whatever, and fly a sign. But I'm tired of fucking begging. I believe I deserve better, and the only way I'm going to get better is if I refuse that which is less than I deserve. And sure, I need money, but maybe I need to accept the fact that I can do without it. And that in mind, we're looking at 348. I've got an eighth of tank of gas. I'm on the low gas light. That usually gives me maybe 30 miles at best around town. And without any current income, I don't have any much choice. I gotta go sit my ass and fucking Jack in the Box, upload these deals, see if I can't be productive on it. And Joe tweeted earlier, a reminder I'd forgotten about the UFC fight tonight, so maybe by late tonight or early tomorrow, somebody will have put that shit up on YouTube, so a poor ass monkey like me can afford to watch it and enjoy some entertainment. But if not, I'm sure there'll be plenty of other things to keep us distracted. And I guess that's part of the challenge. If you check out my Facebook page, I have a Facebook page called Residentially Challenged by Clem Hawkins the Third, I think, or Clem Henry Hawkins the Third. I forgot what the pen name was for that one. But it's up there if you want to take a gander. I haven't really looked at it much, only because I'm stuck in my day-to-day reality, and I'm just trying to make it through and to survive. And the things I've had to do and go through just to fucking survive, I'm not even going to get into, because you wouldn't believe it. And it wasn't until after about a year in Denver that I realized that the majority of my friends didn't give a fucking rat's ass anyway. They were bar friends or drinking buddies at best. I have made a few quality people, connections with quality people, but I don't like being a burden. I want God to give me my own. I don't need theirs, I need mine. But so far right now, what I got is a Jeep that I'd say was free, but it wasn't, because it cost me all the money to get there, all the money that I put into it, as well as the relationship with my dad, thanks to his wife, who prefers he not communicate with me, which she isn't that lovely. And I'll stay single the rest of my fucking days before I marry a cunt like that. You don't do that. You don't join a family and ostracize one of them. But again, I'm glad he's got somebody to keep him company, and that's all there is to say about that in a Forrest Gump sort of fucking way. But here we are rolling through McDonald's, and I still don't understand how these fuckers do it. I mean, I've talked with the girls over at Jack in the Box. They get probably the same amount of money, $9 an hour maybe, and if they made $10 an hour, they're lucky to pull up home $250 a week. That's $1,000 a month. Most places around here, rent is more than that. If you look at the formula of society, we're supposed to earn 3 times our income just to qualify. And I can't see. I'm just not seeing it for me. So I have to accept that's not a viable option. So what's my other options? And how do I take my motivation and the inspiration that I've received recently